Hey guys, Jack here, and December of 2015 is Jojo month. That's what I'm calling it, because today, two pieces of information I'm going to talk, one being the bulk of this video, as you can see in the description, and we also have on the 17th, we've got Eyes of Heaven's official release. On the 18th, the next day, we actually have volume 11 of JoJolion coming out. On the 19th, we have a big centre colour chapter of JoJolion Ultra Jump. Looking forward to that again. On the 19th again, and the 20th, we have Jump Festival, which is going to have a lot of news about the Part 4 Diamond is Unbreakable anime and a possible new trailer. Oh my god, I'll be translating that, I'll be talking a lot about that stuff, showing off pictures, doing a vlog about the experience with, hopefully with some video, if not then a lot of pictures. And of course I'll be handling the Eyes of Heaven story and translating it, blah blah blah. But you saw the stuff come out around then. But for today, two pieces of information. First of all, today at 9 PM Japan time, we have the semi-finals of the Eyes of Heaven tournament. They're probably just going to be very quick with that, and then of course they're going to talk about Stardust shooters, and if you sign in the next day at 8 PM, you can possibly get these diamonds, blah blah blah. And then that's probably what they're going to do. Maybe a little bit more information and stuff like that about everything. But I really hope that they stop with the story now, because I think this information we've got with the story so far is decent enough. We know the full roster. We've seen the majority of the first chapter. Of course, we know Heaven Ascended Dio is the final boss. Or he might not be. They might kind of do a bit right at the end. You defeat Dio and it turns out that there's someone else or whatever. But we'll see. I'll be really cool if it's just Araki Hiriko was the last boss. He was like, I'm above Dio. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I hope to see a little bit more on characters. I know they're doing the character gameplay every day that I cover in my talk-throughs. But I kind of want to see a bit more, because considering that we have literally 12 days until Eyes of Heaven comes out. And, well, we've only covered about, well, I say we, they've only covered about 10 to 12 videos. I think about 12 videos, 13 videos, something like that. And so they're not going to be able to cover other people. So yeah, want to see a little bit more about the characters more in depth there. Anyway, apart from that, another thing about JoJo, today I purchased this. Jump Squared. If you don't know what Jump Squared is a monthly magazine that was previously known as Monthly Jump, I do believe, and it had a lot of stuff where if they preferred to put certain mangas on a monthly basis, they would put it in this. Also for the fact that they will show stuff that you could normally put into weekly. You know, maybe they're like, oh, we can get away with some boobs and some some stuff like that, some pretty kind of perverted shit as well. But yeah, they also added something this month with JoJo in it, and this is the only month I've probably ever bought Jump Squared or Monthly Jump. I might have bought Monthly Jump, but yeah. Yeah. So yes, we have a Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan chapter in this book. It's a brand new one, 50 pages. It is called Monday's Rainy Weather. It's the 7th episode. It's pretty damn cool. If I just open this up and show you right there, look at that. That is the cover of it. Look at that colourful Heaven's Door. Look at that. He looks fucking awesome. Then we got Rohan looking sexy. All the girls go crazy for Rohan. Then we have centre colour 50 pages. That's right. It says 50p and I'm British. That makes me think about it's a really cheap book. So, basically, if you don't know about my JoJolion videos, I normally do spoilers about it. I do spoilers and impressions, how I felt about the chapter, and, well, of course, full spoilers. I'm doing the same thing here. I tend to show off a lot of pages, maybe not a lot, but I show off some important pages. So I'm going to be talking, and then I'm going to just show you the very important pages so you can go and find out later if someone translates it or not. You can still come here, and we can all talk in the comment section about it, because I really enjoyed this. Probably my favourite Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan about Rohan, and not some other stories that he's done, which is still good. But anyway, let's start. So, of course, first of all, we see Rohan, he's using Heaven's Door and a piece of chicken to find out the expiration date. And he uses it, and it's like, okay, you've got 17 days left on this chicken. In fact, I will show you that, because it's just funny, like, just using Heaven's Door and food to find out the expiration date. And everything in the centre, as you can see right here, unzin, which basically means save, different things, no salmonella, still okay, but from 17 minutes from now, it's going to start to go bad. So then he talks about the fact that this is about pain, like this chapter's about pain. When he was a kid, he broke a rib, and he's still got some kind of dull pain even up to now, and he's like, yeah, this is, we've all felt pain, I've felt pain, I broke my ribs, and there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about pain. Not just pain, but also notice how the world is in love with smartphones, and I should have actually pulled up my smartphone, with smartphones, and how people use it. And yeah, this is all about smartphones. It is about pain, but it's mostly about smartphones. It's really well done because it's really realistic in the kind of, you know, spoilers before the spoilers. It's got this kind of zombie mentality ideal that like in real life as well. Anyway, let's get onto this. So we see Rohan. He's using his smartphone to smash into the chicken to put it, you know, into his phone as a trick. Of course, as you can see, it's a simple camera trick where we've got the fried chicken behind, and he realizes that he's buggered up because it's just the way he's done it, and you can see the chicken in the background anyway. So we go into the story. It's a rainy day in Moriocho. He's at Morio Station on the phone to somebody about a meeting. He's like, okay, I'm going to go to S City, going to head down to S City, and we can all meet up and stuff. But sadly, I can't take a taxi because there's a traffic jam due to the rain, and I don't think I'll be able to go. And he exclaims that, oh, it's raining recently a lot, isn't it? At that point, we got this little kid, really small kid, bashes right into Rohan as he enters the station, thinking, you know what, I might take a train. Bashes into Rohan, and he's like, I'm sorry, mister, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, here you are, gives him his smartphone back, and gives him, like, his stuff that came out of his bag. He's like, here you are you okay, kid? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm really sorry, goodbye. And then Rohan notices that on his leg, he's got a wet patch from when the kid bumped into him with his umbrella, and he's got, you know, wet patch on his leg. He then moves on. We see this guy, and this guy's kind of like a brute guy. He's kind of like, you know, Mr. Tough Guy. He's on his smartphone as well. Bashes right face forward into Rohan, and he cuts Rohan right on the neck. Rohan's like that. He checks the blood, and this guy's like, "Oh, get out of my way, you!" And he's like, "Oh, aren't you that Rohan guy who makes that manga? Oh, I'm a really big fan, sir. This is my girlfriend." And then he has the nerve to not be like, "Oh, I do apologise, but I've got to go really fast, but do you mind if I have an autograph?" He says, "Next time we meet, I want to have an autograph. Can't believe that Kishibe Rohan rides the train like normal people. Ha ha ha. Oh, by the way, the autograph will be for my girlfriend." And then the girlfriend says to him, who is this? Who is this Rohan guy? Which I thought was quite funny. But yeah, he's in a hurry and he goes off, and like I said, Rohan's got a cut on his neck. Now, as we see, I'll show you one thing which I thought was I really want to show. Got this old lady here. You know, she's on a smartphone as well, and Rohan's just like, "Old lady." So like he notices her, and he's like, "Okay, what's going on here?" And we actually see the fact that she's walking like that, but then we see, well, you can't see it, walking like that, but then we see her kind of turn towards Rohan, and Rohan's like, "What's going on?" So she knows that she's gonna fall into him. So he moves out the way, and she crashes right on her face in front of Rohan. Look, there's Rohan moving out the way, and she crashes right in front of Rohan. As you can see here, this is very important for later. She's clasping her heart, and she's on the floor, and everyone's around her like, "Get an ambulance! Call an ambulance! She's fallen over! She's grasping her heart! She's hurt her heart!" And Rohan's like, "I did not do this. I in no way. I moved out the way, and she just fell over. I did not touch her." At that point, another guy bumps into Rohan with his smartphone. He's like, "Can you move, please? I'm trying to take a picture of that fallen old woman." There's another arsehole. We've already got 2 arseholes already, and we're only a few pages in. Next up, we see another guy right behind Rohan, just like crash into him and smack him right here, right in the chin. And he's like, "Ah, ouch!" And he's like, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And then that's when we notice Rohan. And I'll show you the picture. Rohan is like, wait a minute. And as you can see in the background, everybody's on their phone. People going to the toilet, on their phone. People at the kiosk, on their phone. And my favourite picture, I've got to show this one. The same exact person on the elevator going up. And yeah, they're all on their phones. He's like dodging out of the way of all these people. These people are incoming, and he's dodging out of the way. And that's when he's like, okay, something's weird, something's going on. I'm going to hide in front of this pillar. So on this pillar, and you just see this guy round the pillar, and he gets closer to the pillar, and he can't bump into Rohan. So he sneezes on Rohan, the next best thing to sneeze on him. Covers him in his germs, like that. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" So anyway, they get onto he gets onto the platform finally, and there's this big guy, really big guy, mammoth of a man, as you can probably see there. There's the guy, has a weird face. I know he's got the phone, but it looks funny. Big and annoying. I was like, "Oi, oi, oi, could you stop, please? Just like you're gonna fall on me. Can you please stop?" And he's like, "What? Sorry, I was on my phone." At that point, this guy's like, "All right, okay, I've got some questions I want to ask you, and it's got it's to do with your smartphone, and I really want to know what's going on." At that point, we get this woman, and she's on a smartphone as well, and she's got a baby in a pram. She's moving the pram, bumps into Rohan, and what happens? Rohan falls onto the on the train tracks. Everyone like, oh my god, no, because there's a train coming. Because look, you can see it, look. There's a train incoming, and Rohan's on there, and he's like, what's going on? No, I don't know what's going on. This is crazy, okay? He's getting flustered because he looks up and he sees everyone is on their phone. Apart from that one big guy, puts out his hand, he's like, grab my hand, grab my hand. And he's like, no, this might be the work of an enemy. Doesn't say an enemy stand, doesn't say stand at all, it just says there's an enemy, someone trying to get me, I think someone's trying to get me. What shall I do? I can't grab this man's hand, I don't know if I can trust him, he could be the enemy. So he goes to grab the big guy's hand and he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And you see the train coming. At this point, we see a guy behind the big guy smack him, walk into him and smack him, and the big guy lands on top of Rohan, and as you can see, the train is literally a few feet away from their heads. At this point, it's the only thing he can do, and of course he summons Heaven's Door, and he tells him to push him out the way. He's like, push me! So he writes in, push me. He pushes out of the way, and this is pretty funny because, look, his whole body pushes Rohan out of the way into safety. He's safe as well, but he turns into like a big book. Look at that. Like, the majority of his body is a big book with all the information. Now, this is probably wrong, but I kind of penned it myself because out of all the information, it's like lorem ipsum, it's just random writing, but the only thing I can see in English is the fact that right here, if you can see that, it says Enrique. Therefore, it's probably not his name, because he's probably Japanese, since it is in Japan. But I'm going to call him Enrique, because he's got, like, he's got blonde hair. I mean, yeah, I know avocados have had blonde hair, but he's got blonde hair, and, I don't know, looks like an Enrique, I guess. Anyway, so he basically grabs him, and they're safe now. The train's gone past, they're still on the train tracks, but he's looking at him, and he's like, alright, let's read more about this guy, because if this guy is the enemy, then, I'm not having this. So he reads his mind, and he actually sees that the guy is actually a nice guy. He's not a bad guy. He was coming home from work. He's going to get a train coming home from work. He's got 2 kids. He works. He's a salary man. Works in a normal office, and he has a chronic heart disease. And that is literally it. He's actually a decent guy who wanted to save Rohan's life, but Rohan couldn't trust him because all these people are bashing into him. Then we learn from Enrique, or the big guy, whatever you want to call him. I just call him Enrique. It is probably wrong. We then see that everybody on the platform are just like, they've got their phones and they're they're not personally looking, but they're all aimed at Enrique and Rohan. Enrique then explains to Rohan that all day he's had people on smartphones just like not paying attention and like budging into him and going, oh sorry, all day. And then we got Rohan's like, yeah, that's exactly the same as me. That's really weird. What's going on? So after that, we have another train incoming at their position, and that's when we got a station attendant. He's like, everybody, press the halt button. We need to stop the train. We need to go get them. Everyone, please help. And that's when we see him go, no, this guy, he could be. He's not trusting again. He's like, this station attendant, he could be a bad guy. He could be evil. He could be the guy aiming to get me, to kill me, or this Enrique guy. And so he uses Heaven's Door on him. But as he's about to use Heaven's Door, basically everybody pushes each other, and every single person comes toppling down onto the track. So the woman with the pram with the baby in it, the station attendants, everybody who basically was bashing into each other has now joined Enrique and Rohan on the train tracks. Great, that's great, isn't it? Then we see, not just that, another like 10 more come and join them. They're not specifically like jumping off. They're actually just walking. They're just like that. And it's just like, oh crap, what the hell's going on? This is weird. Is it a stand? What's going on? That's what you've got in your mind. So we've got like 20 people on the train tracks. So Rohan's like, okay, everybody, quickly go to the opposite side. Get on the opposite side of the train tracks, so we can go onto the other platform. If we can do that, we're safe. Yeah, that doesn't go too well. That doesn't go too well with everyone falling off onto the train track from the opposite side of the platform as well. So not only have everybody from this side fallen, we now have everybody on this side fallen. We've got like 20 people all gathered together. Rohan's then like, okay, no, we've got no time to like get everybody up. So, as you know, of course, in train stations, you've got like the platforms, you've got the train tracks here, but then you've got this little like safe space underneath. Rohan tries to get everybody. He's like, everybody get him, get him. He's holding onto the baby from the pram, because the pram's broken. He's holding onto the baby. Sorry for the cough. And as he's holding onto the baby, he notices, as you can see right here, that everybody cannot get underneath, especially Enrique, the big guy, him being a massive guy. And then you see that everybody is still holding their bloody smartphones, checking it out. And the weirdest thing is that if you look here, they're all on their phones, but they're all gathered in a circle around Enrique, who's looking much bigger. But yeah, it's very weird. So Rohan's like, what the hell's going on? What is this? Why are they crowding Enrique? This is really weird. And it turns out that everybody was being drawn to Enrique because, and here comes part of the spoilers, coming out of Rohan and everybody's smartphone are these little bugs. And if we look here, look, and they all crawl all over Enrique's body. So, allow me to explain. These bugs are basically, they're called Lorenzina, or that's what it's called in this. I looked it up, and it's kind of connected to Lorenzini, which is I can't pronounce it, but it's a type of thing that I do believe sharks, sturgeons, and certain sea mammals / fish have, where it's electronical pulses in their head that can use to find prey and kind of dangers and stuff like that. But these things are completely, of course, works of fiction made by Araki Hiriko. They're called Lorenzina, as I said, and they're a type of bug that live in electronic items. They lay their eggs inside them, and they feed off of electromagnetic waves. And as we know, the body has electromagnetic waves, but the stronger ones are inside the phones. Rohan opens his phone up and sees, that the bug was indeed living inside his phone, feeding off the energy. So what they actually do is, if you've got one or two, they're not that strong. They're just these little weak bugs who are looking to feed off of electromagnetic waves. But it turns out that they're in everyone's smartphone eating up, electronic magnetic waves. How many times can I say that word? And what they do is, they actually, they look for beings, so, animals and humans or whatever, with weak electromagnetic pulses in their heart, that gives off from their heart or brain. They gather together, and they basically feed on the body, the heart's electromagnetic waves, or the brain, basically the body's electromagnetic waves, killing them. Of course, if one does it, it's like, oh no, but then when they all gather together, they all do it, and that's why Enrique, as we know, he's got a chronic heart condition, and he's got a very weak heart, so they're trying to feed off of it all together. And that's why they kept bumping into him. They were actually trying to get to Enrique, not Rohan, and they were trying to actually feed off of his heart. So what they did is, how it works is that when they're inside the smartphones, the explanation is, when they're inside of the smartphones, they actually use magnetic waves in the smartphones to connect to the frequency of our electronic waves in our mind to control us. So basically, we're doing whatever on our smartphone. We're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to play this game, I'm going to check out the news, blah, blah, blah. But it's sending signals that's making the body all gather together, and all these people gathering together, or animals, but basically all these people gather together with holding their smartphones towards people that are weak. Then they come out of the phones and they eat the electronic waves of Enrique. And after the explanation, poor old Enrique, spoilers, Enrique, big eye Enrique, he is killed. His electronic waves from his heart are eaten. He doesn't make it. At that point, Rohan gathers everything that I just basically said, and he's like, wow, that was, that came, they're primarily around in Hong Kong and Shanghai and East Asia. but for some reason, you know, they've made it to Japan, and there was a lot of them, and this is crazy. So afterwards, we actually find out that we hear a crash after Enrique dies, and we see the fact that the train has been stopped by an incoming truck, and the person riding it is the station attendant. And what happened was, at the time that they were trying to, or everybody was falling off, when we didn't see it, but when Rohan used Heaven's Door, he didn't close Heaven's Door on the station attendant, and he wrote in his mind what he should do. And he's like, to be a hero, you need to get a truck, something big that can stop a train, crash it in front of the train, to halt it, to save everybody. And that's what he did, and the guy's fine, everyone's fine. The only person who's not fine is Enrique, who died. And as Rohan walks away, he complains again, oh, it's raining a lot, damn it. And he's like, I guess I'm going to cancel going to the to that meeting. It's raining, and I've got an idea. He said it was just an idea that I had, have. So it's kind of like possibly it's going to be based on this episode. You know, like he's telling the the story guy about and stuff like that. So yeah, he's back to square one. Even worse now, so that he is just like, I might as well go home. Traffic jam's still happening. There's definitely no trains because of the crash. I'm going to cancel it and go home. So he cancels it, goes home, and that's it. That's the chapter. But here's something interesting that I found, and I talked to all my Japanese friends, and I was like, check this out, because this is weird. There's a misprint in the end, and I'm going to show you, actually. It's a very misprint. So this is called Mondays, Episode 7, Mondays Rainy Weather, in which, in the misprint right here, it says Episode 7, Sundays Rainy Weather, finished, because it's the end of the chapter. So they buggered up, they put the wrong day. It's like on the front cover, it's like right there, it's like, oh yeah, this is the new chapter, it's called Mondays. Right there in the blue, sorry, Mondays Rainy Weather. It says it on the centre colour, it even says it a few times on that. Then at the end, it's like the end of Sundays, Sundays Rainy Weather. Now, yeah, that's basically the whole chapter. You know about Araki Hirohiko, he makes up these really cool kind of weird things, and the fact that it was actually bugs, it was a very like realistic kind of craziness, as I said. The fact that it's actually bugs in the smartphones using electromagnetic waves to control us, to actually find different, to find weak animals, humans, whatever, to feed off of, so they can feed off their waves and then possibly go back. One more thing I do need to add is at the very end, actually, which I will show you, because, you know, this is another thing that's kind of sad. And right at the end of the chapter, we get to see something interesting. Give me a second, so I do apologise. I should have shown you this before I shut it. Remember the old woman that I said it was very important to see her clasping her heart? Well, she's walking away. She's like, I'm on my phone again. I'm okay. I'm all okay. And then suddenly Ryan's like, what's going on? And then we see, dun dun dun, all the bugs are around her neck. She's next. She's gonna get her electromagnetic waves devoured next. So, I don't know, how do you feel about it? If you watched the spoilers all the way through and you were listening to all my notes and everything, and basically I did talk about the whole thing in depth, or if you have read it, if it's out, or if not, if you're waiting to read it, or you've read it, and blah blah blah. Talk in the comment section, how do you feel about this? What is your favourite That's Spoke Kishibe Rohan chapter? We can talk about that. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll have my Jojo and spoilers out on the 19th. I'll also have a lot of Eyes of Heaven stuff later. Possibly later. We've got my AC/DC talk through, and hopefully another video if there is a lot of news about the semi-finals of the Eyes of Heaven tournament. Anyway, this is a longer video than I thought it was going to be. I was trying to aim for under 20 minutes. It's now 25 minutes ish. But anyway, thank you for joining me. That was Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan, Episode 7, Monday's Rainy Weather. A good one, in fact. My impressions, loved it, and I will see you later on.